Welcome back to World Class Bullshitters, folks. And tonight is a very impromptu stream. We're gathering not for the happiest of occasions, but in memory of a very important man in the world of Star Wars, Gary Kurtz. Now, if you don't know the name, you definitely know his contribution to the galaxy far, far away, because he was the man that kept George Lucas sane. He was the one that made George Lucas accountable. So when George Lucas had creative control and endless power, we got the prequels, we got a bunch of other stuff. But Gary Kurtz is one of the main reasons why the original Star Wars was just so damn good. So tonight, we're going to watch the final movie he was involved with in the Star Wars trilogy. We're going to talk about him, his contributions, and all kinds of stuff. And by we, I mean our good friend, American Trent 007. Trent, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, Jeff. Good to be here again after our stream last night of Star Wars 1977. Kind of ironic now looking back. We mentioned Gary towards the end about his contributions to that movie and this one we're watching tonight, Empire Strikes Back. And then found out today that he passed away yesterday afternoon. Very sad news.
Yeah, it was sad. It was just so bizarre that we talked about him and how important he was, and then boom. So there we are.
Yeah, and the image that I found for my icon tonight of him and Carrie Fisher, another one we've lost, I thought that was really that really hit me to see that image.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not one of these people that's like, I look at these old pictures of Star Wars and cry and all this stuff, but the weird thing that actually caught my attention to how I was aware that he died was right after the live stream this morning on the Facebook, or I'm on a Facebook page, and I see a picture from behind the scenes of Star Wars. I'm thinking to myself, oh man, it is always awesome to see a picture from behind the scenes of the original Star Wars, because while it is the actors in costume, it's just like more of Han Solo, more of this. And then I read it and it said Gary Kurtz, 1940 to 2018. I went, what? And I checked it out, and it was legit. So I posted this to our Facebook page a while ago, and I'm going to read this. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm going to paraphrase it before we start the movie. So he died yesterday at 4:47 p.m. after living with cancer for the last year. In the 70s and 80s, Gary Kurtz was a young filmmaker that revolutionized Hollywood at its core with films like Star Wars, American Graffiti, and The Empire Strikes Back. The agreements he closed altered the balance of power from the film studio to the directors and producers, so they could, for the first time, make the films how they wanted to make them and control the process of the art of filmmaking. So let's see. Let's get to where he got involved with George Lucas, though. After leaving military service, Gary Kurtz moved into studio pictures and became an associate producer on Chandler, blah, 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 blah. In 1971, he met George Lucas, and this is when they started to work together for a decade. He studied religion extensively in his early years. In the early stages of development on Star Wars, he suggested to Lucas that he might give the film a sufficiently universal religion to help give it more depth. That led to Kurtz working on the Star Wars screenplay and developing The Force, which would go on to influence generations of fans. Lucasfilm was born under their banner and went on to make some of Hollywood's most successful films of all time. It's pretty interesting to think how everyone wants to attribute Star Wars to George Lucas, but Gary Kurtz, I mean, we're hearing it right here from the Kurtz Joyner archive that Gary Kurtz, is attributed to creating The Force, one of the most important parts of Star Wars. Did you know that?
Yeah, I actually did go ahead and rewatch some of Empire of Dreams. I got all the way to about the midpoint. And I remember the one thing they brought up was how towards the end of production, 20th Century Fox wanted to shut them down for budget reasons. And he fought them tooth and nail and said, hey, give us one more week. It's cheaper than shutting us down and not giving us this extension. Just please. And they're going back and forth, back and forth. And obviously it prevailed, and now we have Star Wars.
Yeah, it says Kurtz closed the deal with 20th Century Fox to make Star Wars for an $11 million budget. Off the back of this, Kurtz and Lucas set up the Star Wars Corporation. Gary Kurtz became vice president of the corporation, looking after the development of the film and also the film's other assets, such as merchandising rights and products. Star Wars was to become a troublesome production, which was complicated to finish. It pushed special effects and technology and the art of filmmaking to the limit. In order to finish the film on time, Kurtz set up a second unit, like you're talking about, that directed many pickup shots, most of the cockpit dogfighting scenes, most of the Star Wars opening scene interior fight sequences on Princess Leia's ship. He then went back to the U.S. to work on special effects, miniatures at ILM. Star Wars became one of the biggest films of all time, doing over $1.1 billion. And it was Gary Kurtz that chose to film The Empire Strikes Back in Norway, where he served for basic training in the Marine Corps. And we're going to be talking about his contributions the entire night during this watch party of The Empire Strikes Back. So to get all the questions out of the way, we're watching the special edition. So what does that mean for you guys? Well, if you watch the theatrical cut, I don't know the exact time difference, but I do know that if you watch the 97, 2004, or 2011 Blu-ray, you're going to have the exact same times as us. So let's see. Yep. People were talking about the MCU. I guess you guys were checking out the video from earlier today. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it's sparking up the conversation. So Trent, where do you rank Empire Strikes Back in all of Star Wars?
It's number 2, a very strong number 2. I really do think it is possibly the most important of the saga movies. Now that once it becomes an actual trilogy, it's very important. But we said this last night. I personally still think 77 is the best Star Wars movie. It's the most complete Star Wars movie, the most impactful. It revolutionized filmmaking as we know it. But leading up following up to that movie, Empire Strikes Back really does hit an 11 out of 10. It is a near perfect movie. If not, it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, I don't have many, if anything, to critique it. The last time we watched it for the channel, I realized how well paced it was and how fast it moved. So I'm excited to watch The Empire Strikes Back. It's funny, last night, everyone's like, Jeff, Trent, you guys got to watch the next one. Watch the next one. We're thinking, nah, we'll watch it in a couple weeks. We're here the next night. So this wasn't planned. This kind of came about. I just thought, we talk so much about the bad parts of Star Wars. We talk about Kathleen Kennedy. We talk about all this garbage, Bob Iger, Rian Johnson. Let's talk about one of the voices that, I hate to say it, a lot of you people out there don't know who Gary Kurtz is. If you consider yourself a Star Wars fan, go out and read up on him, because he was very, very important to what we loved about Star Wars. Everyone talks about how there's a dip in quality with Return of the Jedi. Well, Gary Kurtz is the reason why. Him being involved with Star Wars really did make it more than just a George Lucas sci-fi fantasy film. And here's a quote from Gary Kurtz that I wanted to bring up. I saved this just for tonight. And this is from Gary Kurtz. It says, "The toy business began to drive the Lucasfilm empire. It's a shame. They make three times as much on toys as they do on films. It's natural to make decisions that protect the toy business, but that's not the best thing for the making of quality films." So Gary Kurtz definitely had his finger on the pulse. I didn't know him personally, never had a chance to meet him. I'm not saddened like that, but I do respect all the work he did. And there's a reason why the first 2 Star Wars movies are the best 2 Star Wars movies. And there's really no debate about it.
It's very true. And you think about it, I mean, no one ever argues for Attack of the Clones being the best Star Wars movie. Okay, the debate is usually between Empire and Star Wars 77. And those are 2 films that he was a part of, the only 2. There was some residual, obviously, because it's the same storyline directly in the trilogy for Return of the Jedi, but that is a dip in quality to a degree. And then you have the prequels, where until Revenge of the Sith, it was essentially a good story, but they kind of threw it in a tub of shit and threw it at the wall. And that's because there was no Gary Kurtz there. There was no voice in George's ear to cooperate with and kind of rein them in and bounce ideas off of, and kind of help each other stay between the lanes and make a great product. That was missing, and this man was that other part. He is. I mean, George Lucas will always be, it's Lucasfilm Limited. He will always be considered the main man, but this guy really needs to be on that Mount Rushmore of Star Wars when it comes to how it was made.
Agreed. Him, Lucas, John Williams, Ben Burt. There's a lot of people. Joe Johnston, Ralph McQuarrie, Marshall Lucas. I think those are the most important people. I mean, there are other people, obviously. We talked about Gil Taylor last night. But, folks, tonight's Empire Strikes Back viewing, let me know about your opinions and thoughts on this movie. I'm reading the chat. I'm going to have the movie up. So it's going to be, again, a very interactive, fun watch party on a Monday night. So if you got to go to work in the morning, that's why we're starting early. So you can finish this, have some fun, and then go to bed if you have to. So, everybody, get your timestamp set to 0 and press play.
One second, Jeff.
All right.
Real quick. I want to bring it get back up on the menu here. 1 second, guys. Can't hit that hyperdrive yet. I didn't fix it.
It's already fixed it. It's not my fault. Oh God, and we get to see the good Lando Calrissian.
What do we have here? Not Pando.
No. Billy D. Billy D. All right, folks. So forget your timestamps. Everybody, I'll give you one more minute. Empire Strikes Back. I remember the first time I saw this, my cousin covered my face because she thought I couldn't handle the Wampa attacking Luke Skywalker. And then the next weekend I saw Return of the Jedi. It was a long wait. And then I eventually rented the movie again, and I called my cousin and said, hey, I saw Empire Strikes Back where the Wampa hit Luke. So my cousin ruined my first viewing of The Empire Strikes Back. Thank you, Maria, but I still love you. So here we go, everybody. Get your timestamp set to 0. This is the Blu-ray cut, but if you have the DVD special editions, the VHS of the 97 cut, you'll be fine. So everybody get your timestamp set to 0 and press play right now. Okay, there's the fanfare. Pete says this is the best Star Wars movie. Pete, there was a point in time where I thought it was the best, but I asked myself, what do I enjoy watching the most? What do I get the most out of emotionally? And The Empire Strikes Back is not that. It's always a new hope for me. But this is a damn fine film that I have no complaints about.
Yeah, it may be the most well put together, but I kind of come at it the same way you do, Jeff, with the impactful emotional connection and look at that. But this is definitely a much more refined product than the first one.
See, I think it's refined from a production aspect, but I don't think the pacing's as good as the first one.
No, yeah, I mentioned that I think at the beginning. Yeah, I do believe the first one's still also the best paced. The middle of this movie is very important to the story, but it does get a little slow. Doesn't make it any less important, but it's slow.
No, not at all. It's not. It's where the Star Wars universe changes a lot, but that's a good thing. Tomorrow, Solo: A Star Wars Story comes out, and I'm not going to buy a copy. So, folks, if you're going to think about watching the film, don't. It'll hit Netflix because I believe that's part of the deal with Disney. So watch it then. Neff Champion says, I don't have a favorite moment in Empire. I love the whole film. Yeah. Again, I really don't have much fault with that statement. I agree with it. It's a great movie. This is Joel's favorite Star Wars movie. This is Kendo's favorite Star Wars movie, I believe. Kendo may join us later on tonight. I don't know exactly yet. But Evil Ash says, damn, Jeff, I keep forgetting you're so young. I saw it in theaters when I was 7. I had to wait 3 years for the next movie. Sorry, I'm only 29, guys. But that's okay. We're all still friends.
All right, well, here's our first change, really, in the Star Wars universe. What do you think of the change to the Star Destroyers?
I don't really notice them.
Really don't. Yeah, I had you pointed out, actually, to me to pick it up, but I don't know. I still think the original 77 looks the best, but all I did was like knock off one rung off the center antenna thing. That's about it.
See, I've watched Star Wars 157 times, and I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, if you look up from the beginning of A New Hope, the Star Destroyer at the beginning, you'll see the difference in the bridge.
Oh, okay. Let's see. A couple of people says Roundtable Game 211 says first time joining a live chat show. I'm glad I subbed. Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you.
Okay, I gotta just
Wiener
give a shout out
Clan.
here.
Excuse me.
I was just gonna say the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan. That very nice.
Thank you, Todd Rector. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And there's Mark Hamill. Before he sucked on some green milk from a space whale. When Luke Skywalker had a set on him. A spoil.
Yeah, that's actually Lena Dunham's middle name. Lena Spoil Dunham.
Hope she doesn't enter orbit.
Because we're all doomed.
I was at my local toy store, the classic one, and the guy was showing me how he repainted a Tauntaun figure and put in Sideshow Han Solo collectible on it. It was a damn good looking paint job. You smell something?
That takes a lot of work.
Oh, the Wampa. There's a special edition change right there. When you watch the arm go out, originally you could see the interior of the puppeteers, like the lining of the puppet. But
No,
they
that's
CGI'd
changes.
that out.
I don't mind those changes. That needs to be done.
Oh, I love those changes. Those are just changes I don't think a lot of people pick up on. Like I'm one of those people that can notice the little matte boxes around the TIE fighters during A New Hope.
Then we got Han in his blue or brown jacket.
Blue jacket, brown jacket, who gives a shit? By the way, folks, happy birthday to Mark Hamill. Let's celebrate his birthday by watching him get attacked by a Wampa.
Well, hey, I think he'd rather get attacked by a Wampa than Rian Johnson again, so.
Yeah. It's a lot less painless.
The Wampa gave him some bruises, but Ryan took his soul. Then we got General Purina Dog Chow logo.
Paul says Mark Hamill's birthday is tomorrow or the 25th. I'm just on a Facebook page from Gary Willingham who posted in all these groups. Mark Hamill's birthday is today. So I'm just going by that. General Raikan. They had a cool General Raikan figure. We were talking about the collectibles last night, Trent. With he came with that window thing, the sensor where they were picking up the life forms outside.
Yeah, that was the Saga line.
Yes, Your Highnessness. Dude, on a good day, Han Solo Bespin gear may be my favorite Star Wars costume. But on another day, it may be the original suit, man.
Yeah, I mean it's all good. Han's got that. Here's the thing, though. In space, we see like in the prequels all the fancy ass space clothing. His is simple, but it's still so good. It's like if you're gonna go to the galaxy far away, you're gonna dress like this because this is a cool guy. This is a cool guy look.
Yeah, I feel like it's the most comfortable too, because Luke Skywalker's got that shitty utility belt that he has to wear that's bigger than Han's, and he's got to carry a lightsaber. Han's got a droid collar, a blaster, a few other things. The droids. Like we said last night, they really don't serve too much of a purpose in this film.
Nope, other than C-3PO complaining and getting shut down, trying to give the odds to Han. I mean, what's R2 do? He probes the city, and then he probes L337 a few times.
Oh, sexy. That's how I like my Star Wars. Not really. So they made a Han Solo figure based off of this scene right here where he's doing the work on the Millennium Falcon. It's like the dumbest figure ever because it's like only accurate for one scene.
Yeah, well, did you see that new Black Series exclusive that's coming out that's going to have him in this outfit, but with a purely like light brown jacket and Hoth Leia standing in the corridor?
I have seen that. I don't know if that's available to the U.S. though. So
I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be offered like a convention or a show overseas, but then like on their website.
Oh, okay.
Which here's the thing though, it's inaccurate. Isn't that John Ratzenberger?
That is.
So he's in a rebel base where everybody knows his name?
Yeah. I think he was also in Superman.
I was going to say, though, that Black Series exclusive is not even accurate because he's wearing his Bespin outfit when he talks to Leia.
Yeah. I guess it's just a way to sell. Remember, they just had that Bespin exclusive from Comic-Con, and then they have the basic release of the Bespin figure. So I guess they're trying to throw out another Black Series Empire Strikes Back Han Solo.
What they could do is throw us a new Darth Vader.
Oh, from Empire and Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Matthews passed away too. He was Ape Hone in Aliens. He was in Tomorrow Never Dies, Trent. He was the guy that talks about the Halo jump. The black dude that was on the plane.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was him. Rest in peace, Al. I'm waiting for the Black Series to go heavy on Return of the Jedi, and we get a Endor Han Solo, and then the re-release of A New Hope Han Solo.
Yeah, they gotta. It's gotta focus on get away from the Disney stuff. Makes more prequel stuff. I will buy a Mace Windu. I'd buy a Chancellor Palpatine Episode 3.
It's funny how people are kind of like nostalgic for prequel stuff based on the lack of quality from the Disney era.
You never know how good you had it until the one you finally end up with ends up being shittier.
Yeah, this is another special edition change I like. I do like seeing the Wampa.
Yeah, he was a little bit like Jaws before, where you just didn't see him until the end. But
now here's something people want to talk about with Star Wars. Oh, Luke is a Mary Sue. No, Luke is not. Luke got beat up and barely escaped. Then he collapses. Han has to save him again. Like he even says in the movie, that's too Yomi Jr. That makes his in Return of the Jedi that much more impactful.
This poor bastard is rolling around in like some, I don't know, some North Michigan winter or something, and trying to go like 10 miles to a base in a blizzard. Yep, his life's easy.
The stop motion work in this is pretty damn fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. Did you pick up the Black Series version of this Han and Tauntaun?
I did not.
I ended up getting it for cheap. It's not great, but it's okay. It's okay. Nothing will beat the Kenner one that has a belly you can actually cut open, though. I mean, that's classic.
That's the most important one. You got to be able to, put your action figure inside of a carcass.
Is that what it's called?
ORTT with your sensor scope. That was a selling point for a toy, too.
I'm going to use that one next time around. I want R2D with my sensor scope. Okay, that's all right. Creepy, nerdy sex advice from Jeff. Here are the one-liners that are sure to work for all the guys out there.
Look at the size of that thing. And hit her with the sensor scope, bro. I'm trying to look up some more stuff about Gary Kurtz in his contribution. Obviously, there's countless contributions.
But guys, never say this to her. I thought these only smelled bad.
Mm-hmm.
On the outside.
Somebody said, I know they made a Han Solo Endor toy from the Black Series, but I would love if they would remake it or make it better. No, they didn't make a 6-inch Endor Han. They might have made... Yeah. And that was just a repackage of another one that came from the vintage collection from 2011.
Yeah, I think so. I do like Leia's look coming up here. Like, she is generally concerned for both those guys.
I love how Chewbacca, you're right, though, about the production of this. It's just shot way better.
And it's only 3 years later. It's the fact of more money.
Yeah. But the first one doesn't look cheap.
No, and honestly, I do kind of like the almost indie film quality look to it. Like, it looks a little less polished, but it just adds to it. I don't know, something about it.
Well, one nice thing, I know people don't like all the special edition changes, nor do I, but Lucas was smart about the way he kept the original Star Wars somewhat current, so they didn't fall out of the public eye as this magical fairy tale. Because they had sometimes updated effects and certain things, and they were released in certain intervals, they were always accessible. They always seemed new to a lot of people.
Yeah. No, he had his hand, his finger on the pulse there for a while, keeping it relevant.
I mean, even in the prequels, he started filming digitally. I think Attack of the Clones was one of the first films shot exclusively on digital. And I think people were upset because Lucas forced some theater chains to convert to digital projectors instead of film. Now people are trying to go back to film. It's kind of weird.
Luke, Yoda, Dagobah, Zima soup.
You say Zima soup?
That's in the Family Guy one.
Oh God, it's been a long time. We gotta try to do that watch party again.
It was going strong until I think Hangouts took a shit.
Yeah. Thanks, Google. We appreciate it.
Yep, that stream that night was great, but ended up like that Tauntaun, dead and frozen in the snow.
I like the story how they went to go film, and they basically filmed outside of the hotel's door.
Yeah, Mark's out there wandering around, and they're just in the front door of the hotel lobby. The camera going, "You're good.
Keep going, Mark."
Okay, can I have a Danish and a coffee, very black? Thank you.
Get a copy of the Beatles' White Album. I almost clicked on that movie instead of this. We could have subverted our listeners' expectations. I thought you guys were watching The Empire Strikes Back. Nope, we're watching Fletch.
You know what? Publisher Clearinghouse could have subverted his expectations and actually sent him a winner. Ed McMahon.
Oh, this guy. I never liked this. I think his name's like Zev Seneca or something. There's just something about his face.
Zev Seneca, overweight pilot #1.
He reminds me of the dude from Spin City, Richard Kind, the fat guy with the annoying voice. Like, as a kid, that show was on when I was really into Star Wars. And I'd be like, that looks like the guy from Spin City. Not even close, but that's what he reminds me of, or reminded me of back then. He looks like 1980s Jon Favreau.
That's pretty good. You know, I didn't notice this when I was a kid first watching this movie, but the suits are different. They're insulated.
Oh, these ones, yeah. They're completely different costumes.
It's like the Power of the Force X-Wing Luke toy is actually Snowspeeder pilot Luke.
I knew that as a kid. It always pissed me off because I'm like, that's not how it looks in the movie. But whatever. I was like, I guess he's just going to another cold planet. We'll call it the living room carpet. Yeah, Jez Oldfield. I didn't realize Gary died either on this morning's stream. As soon as I got off, I was like, oh my God, Gary Kurtz died. I was going to go live again, but I thought, nah, that's going to be too confusing. Let's just come up with something tonight.
Oh, no, that's... You're really low when you're floating around in a giant diaper.
And a back to tank?
You're either in a retirement home or you're attacked by a Wampa.
Let's see. Gary Kurtz has expressed his dissatisfaction with the Empire Strikes, with Return of the Jedi and the Star Wars prequels. He's acknowledged how the latter three films have impressive moments, but could have bettered their substance if they had a different filmmaker involved, as well as the new technology that had divided the fans. Other sources have suggested that Kurtz was removed from the franchise by Lucas after he allowed the production of Star Wars Episode 5: The Empire Strikes Back to run seriously over schedule and over budget. Huh. Medical record.
Well, I mean, it was money well spent. I mean,
according to records at Elstree Studio, this film was supposed to shoot. It was only budgeted for 100 days, but it took 175, which forced Lucas to borrow $10 million to complete the film. Kurtz had to help direct along with David Tomlin and Irving Kershner, as well as Harley Cokless and John Barry, who died during production of meningitis. Damn, to bring the film in on even this revised schedule and budget. Damn.
Jeez. Well, it paid off. I mean, it's not worth dying for anything, but, you know, it paid off.
Let's see. Kurtz's wife planned a party, the wrap party for this movie, but the completion of the film was a month after the wrap party. I know, right? I love how Luke's just like, watch Luke right here. I never believed that they were meant to be brother and sister.
No, they were not. Here's the thing, but Jeff, we've all been there. We've all been Luke. Like, okay. All right. I'm the guy. But as I've gotten older, I do love kind of the love triangle thing they developed with the first two, especially Han's smooth ass moves there in the Falcon. I respect the man more.
Let's see. Our friend Eric Miller sent in a super chat. Thank you very much, Eric. Stealing Solo. Vader freezes and takes Han in Empire Strikes Back. Excuse me. That's Eric McMiller. Sorry, I was trying to drink some water. Yeah, I'm excited about Stealing Solo, folks. That thing keeps trucking along. Every day it keeps moving up, up, up. I'll be showing some stuff on the High Council. I tweeted it out already, but I'll show it to a big audience.
Oh, the Imperial probe droid.
I never had that toy.
Yeah, I ended up getting the newer one. It was like on sale like for $3 at Walmart.
Can you imagine an Empire Strikes Back where, or not, excuse me, could you imagine a Return of the Jedi with Gary Kurtz involved?
Oh, you mean a battle on Kashyyyk with the Wookiees?
Yeah, much better
I can
film.
imagine. And it's still a really damn good movie overall, story wise. I like it. It could have been better.
Return of the Jedi watch party tomorrow. Cancel the High Council. Yeah, sure, that'll work. That'll put
Or bring the High Council on here. I can do my Uncle E impression for Ethan. It'll be perfect.
We need 27 Jeremys.
27 Jeremys.
You know, there's that movie 13 Dresses or whatever with Katherine Heigl. Wait, somebody already did that with Jeremy. Never mind. Take it back. That'd be cool. Here we go. The Imperial March, dude. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, da, 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 da.
God, Darth Vader is the true hero of this film.
He is a bad sumbitch. I really do love the Executor.
Same here.
Admiral Hitler and General I'm forgetting his name.
Eric Christados. Or
No,
Walter
everyone
Donovan.
forgets his name. Yeah, it's Admiral Hitler and General Donovan.
The movie's called 27 Dresses. Okay, so 27 Jeremys. Yeah, somebody must have posted that already. Jeremy is the clone of Siphon Diaz. That's way too funny to me.
You win, sir.
That came from Darth Primus. Let's give credit where credit's due. I'm trying to catch up on this little bit of reading about Gary Kurtz, because Gary Kurtz didn't like the idea of a second Death Star in Return of the Jedi, which, again, that man, this isn't because he's dead. You can go back on record and hear me talk about him yesterday before I realized he had passed. My interview with Michael from Retro Blasting, where we talk about Gary Kurtz, because Michael hasn't had a chance to meet him. Excuse me. Sorry, wrong tense. Michael's had a chance to meet him. There we go. There's the scene I'm talking about where they made a Han Solo figure for just this 4-second scene.
I'd bought it.
I didn't. I was 2010. It was when they relaunched some Star Wars toys, and Jeff had no money, no cash and prizes. Nicholas Glenn, thank you very much for your super chat. Jeff, had you ever gone to the Earth Toy Store in Cincinnati back in the day? A buddy of mine took a road trip there from Alabama back in 1996. Nicholas Glenn, you're referring to the Earth Toy Mall. Yes, I went to the Earth Toy Mall with my mom all the time. 2002 to 2005-ish when they closed. I went there probably twice a month. I used to pick up all kinds of great stuff there. Trent, you would have went nuts for this store. It's a vintage toy store. It's no longer there. I can't talk about it on air, but I know why they went out of business, and it's not because they were hurting for sales. But you walk into the right, it's just nothing but vintage Star Wars. They had old Kenner production art, all kinds of crazy stuff. It was since you're getting into vintage collection, shot. You would have died. Right here where they're coming to the planet. No CGI required, dude. Could you imagine seeing this in 1980 and being blown away by it?
Oh yeah.
Column scan has detected an energy field.
Hey, it might be the Holy Grail. I didn't.
It belongs in the museum. So do you. But back to Nicholas Glenn's thing, though. Nicholas, yeah, I spent a lot of time there. I picked up my vintage Han Solo that's on my shelf there. I picked up Spider-Man toys. They had all kinds of cool Superpowers line from Kenner. All kinds of crazy stuff. It was one of the best toy stores ever. I picked up my Dr. No James Bond doll for $29 there. So,
what? You choke on your words.
Better than choking on your aspirations.
Director.
I'm sorry. I hate that line so much.
I didn't hate it at first. I still do not, but it's corny. But we know Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader, they are kind of smart asses deep down, you know. And they hate sand.
Excuse the sound, folks. I live on a main street, and it's dangerous out there. Nicholas Glenn said, could you say in a private message why they shut it down? Oh, I could talk to you off air, yeah. I mean, it's really not... I can't tell you where I heard the news, but I can tell you what I heard. Put it like that. Yeah, Nicholas Glenn, or Nicholas. I'm just calling you Nicholas. Why am I calling you full fucking name? Excuse me. Yeah, I can tell you, man. I can see you.
Now, I really did like the Battle of Hoth. I really was obsessed with it when I was a kid. I didn't get an AT-AT until probably 2007. I got the Saga Collection re-release of the indoor one. I never got a Hoth one.
Hoth what? Hoth?
AT-AT.
Oh, I had the 97 release, and it was an excellent toy. That was my big Christmas gift for 1997.
Was it your first catch of the day?
Shut up. Whatever happened to the badasses in Star Wars? Everything's got to be a joke nowadays on screen. Well, Data Racer, it's because they're trying to mimic the MCU.
It's because they are a joke.
Yeah. The first transport is away. There's Mark Hamill's voice.
Wait, that was him?
This is him right here, yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
There's different versions with different voices, but this one's him. I almost bought a Dak action figure.
Hey, Imperial Fleet, get ready to suck some Dak.
The only reason I wanted him is because I talked about that 2010 era where they re-released Star Wars toys and I didn't have any money for it. I did pick up the snow speeder, because I wanted one as a kid and I never got it. So I picked up the rescaled one and I had the accurate Luke to go with it. I was like, man, there's an empty spot in this. Who do I put? So I was like, I guess I should get Dak, but I never did buy Dak. And now Dak's kind of expensive.
You know, I was thinking about that today. Throughout my years being a kid and I was a collector, you know, with Star Wars toys, you think about it, all the multiples of some of the things, like all of the 50,000 Darth Vaders. I never got one snow speeder.
I don't know. I had a lot of Empire Strikes Back toys. I just didn't have that many.
I'm assuming you got the one from Target in the vintage packaging, or was it the one in the blue packaging? Okay, it's vintage.
Yeah,
that's like
I don't know where I put the
$80.
box at.
It's like $70 now.
It was what, $30 back then?
25.
Okay.
I remember whenever I played first Star Wars Battlefront and then Battlefront 2 and the PS2, always would just over and over again, just map list Hoth, 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 Hoth.
Nicholas Glenn also sent another super chat that says, just sold a vintage boxed ESB Empire Strikes Back at complete for $180. Trent would have bought that.
For one, shit, I would have thought about it, but I got the Falcon. I still got to get that Falcon. You know that. I want that ship.
How much would you be willing to pay for it? Like, you want a vintage one or the one that I have?
Oh, I want the Legacy Collection one.
Oh, okay, because
or the re-release.
Somebody was selling a complete vintage one for $300 in the box, but it was open, but it had all the pieces.
Like I told you, I've gotten a few of the vintage Kinder figures recently, and hell, I got one seller. Whenever I buy from them, they just throw in free shit for me because I guess they're the best people on eBay. But I'm not sure about the ships, and it's just too expensive to go with, you know, with the boxes and like mint stuff is ridiculous. But that Legacy Collection Millennium Falcon, we showed it last night, folks. It is the best Star Wars toy ever made. Made the best collectible, short of movie props.
The Grand Inquisitor, thank you very much for your super chat. Jeff, I just sent you an email about Han's Blaster. All right, I'll have to check that out. I'll check it out as we get towards the end of the movie. Or when I get to the next couple messages. Let's see, Nicholas Glenn also said, I got a boxed vintage Falcon for sale, complete now. There you go, Trent.
Son of a bitch, baby.
They're trying to take your money from you, man.
I just give it away nowadays. No,
right.
But another. What's Stealing Solo at right now?
Oh, I don't know, 32 grand.
God, you could buy, I think, like I'd say about Oh, probably what, like 60 Millennium Falcons for that?
To be fair, though, you have to take into account like what the cost of all this stuff is.
Oh no, exactly. You got no, seriously, guys. No, Jeff needs more money. Please don't take that. No, pay this man more money, get more sales, more buy.
Let's see, it's jumped up $1,000 since last night, so it's 31,624. So there's a
Hell
lot
yeah.
of books to be printed.
There you go.
You know, if we could get everybody to buy the $5,000 level, then I could come to everyone's house and we could do anthology. No, I'm just joking. That'd be really bizarre if somebody's like, "Yeah, I'll back you twice on the $5,000 level." Like, really? What do you want? Like, I'm gonna bring the other guys with me for safety reasons, but what would you want? Like,
oh yeah, no. No, he buys them twice because he wants you to come for dinner and stay for breakfast. And you go, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Nicholas Glenn says, I would sell it for $180 if you want via Super Chat. First off, thank you, Nicholas Glenn. Trent, he's trying to tempt you even more, man.
I mean, if it's like new in a like new box, 180, I could do that. I have to see photo. I have to find the listing first.
People are talking about I think Jez Eldfield says, I hate buying my childhood back. I'm very fortunate that I never threw anything out. My mom kept every piece to every toy. That's why I was able to rebuild my Batmobile just by going into the back room and cleaning it out.
Hey Jeff, quick question: how the hell did Bat Guy #1 over there like get some kind of bloody? What the hell? What is that?
He's
like
in
bloody
battle.
nose.
Nice shot, Jensen. Oh, nope, he's dead.
I was gonna say though, how did he get that cut right there? I don't know. There was a really cool Power of the Force, or no, Power of the Jedi speeder they made, where it comes in the box like this, crashed in the snow.
I always think of Suncoast Video whenever I think of the Power of the Jedi toy line, because that's where I saw all that stuff. The Power of the Jedi toy line was when I really wasn't into Star Wars. I was really into wrestling at the time, so... But it was a good toy line, man. I mean, they had some nice figures. They had a pretty good Scout Trooper that came out back then. They also had some nice 12-inch series, or 12-inch figures. They had the Luke that came with like all of his costume stuff for A New Hope. So you basically bought a doll and you got all the costumes with it.
Well, I'm on eBay here looking because that's just what I do. And I'm seeing a semi-complete Millennium Falcon that's Empire Strikes Back. That's $150.
Oh, those poor the rebel officers, they're dead.
Yeah, I was kind of that's one thing that surprised me when I saw this movie was okay, the Empire, they kick ass with those giant robot camels.
Do you think
I do love like
or they just killed him? Because I know C-3PO says, maybe the Empire will be gracious enough to, and then he gets cut off. Do you think they captured anyone here, or do you think they just smoked him and then took their shit?
I think what they did was they captured him. They put him into an interrogation cell. They sent in this droid called the Pound Cake 600, kind of like Lena Dunham. Interrogated him, and then they all said enough is enough. And then Vader came in and took him out Rogue One style.
There's a little stick that pokes the foot to cause it to fall down. That's a production gaffe that nobody talks about. Cotton Candy Haired Jeremy, thank you very much for your super chat. Says, everyone tune into the High Council tomorrow night in Geeks and Gamers. Yep, I'll be there. Ethan will be there. Jeremy will be there. We'll talk about Gary Kurtz. I'm going to bring up some more Gary Kurtz stuff in the morning. I'm talking about Jake Lloyd, too. I feel like we've been talking about all the bad parts of Star Wars, but we're going to celebrate Gary Kurtz and talk about some misunderstood stuff with Jake Lloyd. He kind of got a rough shake with Star Wars, so it'll be nice to talk about just a couple people that maybe didn't benefit from Star Wars and kind of had their lives changed.
That's a good way to do it. Did you ever see the Legacy Collection at the big one?
Yes, I have. In person many times.
That's a very nice one. It's not as expensive as the Falcon, but it's gone up in price.
It used to be $99. I used to see those. They couldn't even give them away at Walmart for a while.
I do like this scene a lot.
I do too. Darth Vader looks so awesome in this.
I still, like I said last night, I do prefer the A New Hope look, everything but the helmet, but he still does look badass.
I think if I could cosplay one fictional character, it would probably be Darth Vader.
Well, you got the height for it.
Yeah, it'd just be very uncomfortable. Hurry up, Goldenrod. You're going to be a permanent resident. My girlfriend in college bought me an 18-inch Han Solo and Hoth gear figure, and when you press his stomach, he says that line. Man, Star Wars Micro Machines, those take me back. Oh.
Well, Jeff, what was your first Star Wars toy? Wasn't it a Power of the Force Han Solo on a green card?
No, it was not. When I got into Star Wars, there was no Power of the Force green card line. It was still red. But the first one I got was Luke Skywalker. It was a 12-inch Luke, like a doll. But then I went to Kroger and I got Luke, Ben, Kenobi, C-3PO, and maybe just those 3 figures. But I got those. Darth Vader. I got all those at Kroger. And that was when they were still on the red card.
Oh, nice. You know, it's crazy. You get all of those sealed today and probably spend like $15.
Yeah, I rebought Luke with the long saber for $5 about a month ago.
I can just imagine the snow troopers there looking at each other like, okay, I wonder who's going to kill first. Because Vader he's in Rogue One, he does his scene, which is really cool, but he is a dickhead in this movie, and this is like he's like a dick 110%. He's just an asshole.
Yeah, but he's also the scariest.
Yes.
I can't believe we're 40 minutes into this movie already.
We are
36 minutes and 18 seconds.
I never knew the beginning of this movie to this point was so long in time, because it doesn't. I feel like it's like been 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it goes by like that.
As a kid, and even now, when we get to this point, this conversation right here with Luke and R2, this is when I feel there's a little bit of a slow point. I still love it, but it does kind of slow down to me around this time.
Thankfully, though, now it comes to this.
Yes.
Maybe the best chase in any Star Wars flick. Because it doesn't have a traditional space battle in this film.
At least it's not about them running out of gas.
I know, right?
Space gas. Spass.
Blue Watcher says Attack of the Clones probably has the slowest pace. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think the shit through Coruscant's pretty early into the movie. But maybe it does slow down after that. Again, this is one of those moments where we won't be making too much noise because we're busy watching the damn movie. Watch this.
We're in trouble.
In Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, there was a secret mission, and it was this level. You just flew through the asteroid field. Yeah.
I miss good Star Wars games. I think a lot of them came out before I was born.
What year were you born again?
97.
Oh, okay. There were great ones after you were born. First Rogue Squadron was 98.
Yeah, but like I said, my consoles, I didn't do any PC stuff, so it was PS1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's just what I played on.
Something hit us. I do love the continuity on this ship. I'm like, well, they got rid of the gold dice, though. Again, these effects look great because they're really there are things there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Clarence Beeks is here, everyone. Make sure you put your hand, and was it your left hand into the pocket of the guy next to you? Let's see. Gary's positive influence was so evident in episodes 4 and 5, hence the sudden drop in quality in Return of the Jedi after he departed. There is a big drop. There's still a lot of good stuff, but Gary wanted Han to die. I'm kind of glad Han Solo doesn't die. Maybe just have him, get wounded or some shit like that later.
Well, just think, if he did die, he wouldn't have been. I don't even want to say it, 'cause I know it hurt you, but
he wouldn't have been in episode 7.
He wouldn't have been Force Awakened.
Yeah, but I don't think there would have been a resurgence in Star Wars. I'm not trying to sound funny, but we got to give Lucas credit because he did know how to keep Star Wars alive, even without Gary Kurtz. And I think a lot of the reason why Star Wars survived the way it has is because people can make their own stories in their own minds. If you had the merchandise, you can take your characters on tons of adventures. Because when you kill off a character, it renders their toy useless. So, oh man, I got all my figures. Well, so-and-so's dead and he doesn't have the Force to come back as a ghost. So Han Solo, I don't want him anymore. So you effectively cut yourself off from selling more and making more Han Solo figures.
Yeah, and as we know, they want to tell us to let the past die, but they keep remaking it, repackaging it, and hanging it up everywhere they can.
Eric McMiller, again, thank you very much for the super chat. Stealing Solo, trying to capture Han again. Yeah, they get him. I've already worked through that part of the story, drawn it, laid it out, all that fun stuff. It might be I don't know if it's the funniest part of the story, but I do enjoy it. 97, this guy's a child. People are freaking out how young you are, Trent. Well, he just turned 21 yesterday. It was his birthday celebration to watch Star Wars with us here on the channel.
It was technically part 2 of the celebration, but it was a hell of a part 2. And it was really cool to be here last night talking about the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion.
Oh, it was a great time, man. Great time had by all.
And I did do what I said I was going to do. I did put in Last Crusade after we got off the air. And I passed out in the chair.
Brandon Moist says, this movie makes me moist, unlike The Last Jedi.
Brandon Moist, what doesn't make you moist?
Kathleen Kennedy.
I think he's at least damp. He's at least damp around Kathleen Kennedy.
For Kathleen Kennedy. Can we get that hashtag trending? Hashtag damp for Kathleen Kennedy. Like, what the fuck do these people on the internet talk about? Like, she's never heard of anything we talk about. And she's like, damn for Kathleen Kennedy. Ew. I'm offended.
Oh, God. In the swamp, dumbass.
I had this Luke I picked up when it was new, I picked up this Luke Skywalker figure. It was one of my favorites. The post X-Wing gear figure where he's rolling around Dagobah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the production art for The Empire Strikes Back from Ralph McQuarrie where Luke and Vader fight and Luke's still in his X-Wing costume?
I think I've seen parts of it, but I've never... I don't think I've heard about that one.
I always thought the imagery was much cooler when Luke and Vader, or when Vader was in black and Luke was in orange. Literally light versus dark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Bespin look, but it is kind of boring.
Yeah, I think a lot of the costumes in this movie look very much like puffy padding, which is fine. I'm not knocking it to saying it's garbage. I just like Return of the Jedi or A New Hope's look for Luke Skywalker a lot more. Brandon Moist says, I'd rather be moldy than damp for Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you, Brandon Moist, but that's disgusting.
It is, but I guess Kathleen Kennedy would do one thing, and that would be contributing to something that cures it becomes penicillin. Yeah, molds penicillin, so I guess it's making medicine. Yeah, so that'd be productive. She's not productive.
No, not at all.
Yeah, she's an executive producer and a lot of shit. Ironic.
What's the most disappointing thing about Disney Star Wars? It made money.
It
No,
sucks.
I think, in all honesty, the thing that's most disappointing about Disney Star Wars is the fact that it is lazy. Yeah, you could do anything you want with Star Wars, and you decide to remake the old ones effectively. That's what
Ooh.
bothers me the most about it.
He was not wearing a helmet riding a motorcycle.
Ugh. His head looks like a penis with an STD.
Okay.
Yes, my lord.
Right.
He just got an action figure,
Right.
Admiral Piet.
Yep. Hey,
Did you
price
get it?
does not Oh, I did from BBTS, and it came and they painted his collar tan.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the top, like the top half of his collar, his gray collar of his outfit was painted tan. Factory error.
Oh, hold on to it and get another
So,
one.
oh, I already returned it, and they got the new one coming out my way.
You should have kept it because people, Star Wars collectors actually care about that kind of stuff.
We gotta get some better hobbies, people.
Let's see if I can share this image with you right now. I wanted you to see Luke and Vader in the orange.
I'm actually looking up concept art right now. I'm looking at it.
Well, there you go. You heard the beat, folks.
And it's badass. It's great. I also like the giant, like huge Wampa. Like it's huge. In that one, right?
Have you ever seen the original Wampa design?
No.
Where it's in the movie. If you look closely at the shot where the Wampa has both of its arms reaching for Luke before he cuts its arm off, they show it. That's the original design. But it was originally like a guy in a giant suit, like with stilts and stuff, and it just looks dumb. Like it's almost embarrassing how dumb it is.
But I was gonna say that price does not concern me, Mr. Hicks. I want that Falcon. But it actually kind of does concern me. I'm not dropping $700. That's bullshit.
I'll talk to some people.
Here we go.
I
will say, no, I am looking real quick. I'm looking at the concept art for the snow speeders, and yeah, I like the actual ones in the movies better.
I think I like all the Star Wars, the actual designs over the concept from Ralph McQuarrie. Joe Johnston and whoever else did that work did a good job to finalize the design. It's all part of a process, folks. Dio Brando, thank you for your super chat. Essentially, remake not effectively. And I fucked it up. I hate the movie so much. Only Rogue One is somewhat okay.
It's because it's essentially a direct prequel to A New Hope, the best one. So, and here's Yoda.
I am not a Yoda fan.
I'll put it this way: I like him in the prequels. Attack me if you will, but I like him in the prequels.
Oh, you can
I respect Yoda. I respect Yoda. I find though that a lot chicks like Yoda. I think he's cute and goofy. I'm like, nah, he's a crotchety old asshole, but I get it.
That's what happens when Kermit and Miss Piggy have a baby. Effectively, Mark Hamill acts with a puppet and a tin can for weeks on end, and he does a good job. I don't think he gets enough credit as an actor. He brings believability to Luke Skywalker. He may not be Harrison Ford levels of great, but he doesn't drop the ball ever.
Well, it's like he says in Empire of Dreams when they're doing screen tests for some of the people that came into for the role of Luke Skywalker. He read the script and some of the lines were just so, as they put it, you can write it, but you really can't say it. So he just was like, he didn't put no tone on it, no accent, no nothing. He just read it like you would and just went for it. It was natural, and that's why I liked him.
I'm glad he's Luke Skywalker.
He would have been even good as Luke Starkiller, but yep, Luke Skywalker, even better.
You ever seen a concept art where Luke's a girl?
Yeah, like a better version of Rey.
Yeah, well, thankfully that didn't happen. Because then they couldn't. Well, sadly, it didn't happen because then they can't claim all their firsts with the Force Awakens.
That was the first time something like that was made on that date at that exact time by that person who was wearing that shirt at that time. They always spin their story to find it first.
I put 1 sugar instead of 2 in my coffee. It's a first.
I'll drink my coffee black, very black. They made a Hot Toys Yoda for episode 5, and it's $200, and the guy's like 4 inches tall. It's like, I know that's in scale, but I just, no. Even I won't do that.
No, it's a good looking toy too, but I just can't pull the trigger on that.
I remember in the original trilogy collection, you had the Dagobah R2-D2 that made the beeps and the boops and stuff, and its head didn't turn, but that was the coolest thing as a kid because I didn't understand there were batteries in there. I was just pressing the button going, oh, it's R2, he's alive. Simpler times.
I was one of those kids. I had 1 R2 and 1 C3. Well, I take it back. I had 2 C3POs when I was a kid. I had the Dirty Sandy one from Land of the Jawas. Well, the multi-pack that came with Luke and Uncle Owen. But R2-D2, there's something I just never liked. I had him because he was part of the crew, but I never get excited to see him.
Well, Han's sure excited to see Leia.
Yeah. This used to be Lando's cape closet.
I haven't seen that movie, and I'm glad that it has not affected my Star Wars viewing experience yet. And I hope it never will.
Maret Dealine, thank you very much for your super chat. Damn, I'm late again. I will catch up shortly. Marathoning alone 5 seasons with my grandma. Well, say hey to your grandma for me. Grandmas are important. Believe me, you only got them for a short period of time. Thankfully, I've had mine for my whole life. So,
hey, you're being a good grandson, man. No apologies.
Yeah. We'll be here. We'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
Scoundrel.
I'm a nice man. No, you're not. You're a scoundrel. Nowadays, if they made a movie like this, the people online would bitch. She forced herself on him and all that shit. It's like, no.
Trust, no, he didn't.
There was tension between them.
Oh yeah.
You can't force Princess Leia into anything. She's a badass woman. She shoots people before she asks questions. So, much like Wonder Woman, if she didn't want to sleep with Steve Trevor, she could have just killed him.
Oh, I guess Steve Trevor's he's coming back for Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, I saw. Have you ever seen the YouTube video Yes Man featuring Darth Vader?
No.
It's really funny that they took that clip of him saying no, and he goes, no, 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 yeah. I just gotta look it up. It's so fucking dumb, but I love it so much.
Well, speaking of Black Series characters and new figures, are you going to get the Walter Donovan General Veers Walgreens exclusive?
If I see it at Walgreens, maybe. Probably not. I'm on a little bit of a Star Wars hiatus. Here's the thing, though. I should get those because maybe one day I'll go back and go, man, I should have collected those when they were $20. Now they're 60. So maybe I should look up Admiral Piet and him and have them.
Now, this is a change I do like.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Superfan Adam Shawhan says, well, how much do I need to pay for you guys to do Return of the Jedi tomorrow night? If I didn't have the High Council, I'd do it for free, man.
I will stream on my channel, which I'll be starting then, I guess, tomorrow, for a $500 fee.
Yeah.
So go towards a Falcon purchase.
If you could just send Trent that Millennium Falcon, he'll stop. He'll just stop plugging it.
Pretty much. Ian McDiarmid, though, great actor. He does such a great job as Palpatine. Even in the prequels, I mean, he's a highlight. He's right there.
He may be the star of Episode 3.
He is. I mean, he's right up there with Ewan McGregor for the most well-known, well-liked parts of the prequels.
One of my favorite parts of the movie is no, 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 and he starts electric. He's so over the top. Unlimited power. That movie's fun. I know it's not the best Star Wars movie, but it's far from the worst.
Master Windu. I take it Junkers has been destroyed then. I must say you're earlier than expected. I am the Senate.
I am the League of Shadows. I'm here to fulfill Ra's al-Ghul's destiny.
Yes.
Only you.
What a lovely singing voice.
I'm going to have to read this article tonight because I got some Gary Kurtz stuff I want to talk about in the morning. Let's see, send a messenger. I can be a Jedi. Ben, tell him I'm ready. I don't know what Rose Tico doll EVS is talking about.
Oh, God. He didn't get a Tico sex doll, did he?
Maybe he made it himself, man.
God dang it.
Sex Tico. Sex Tico. Have you ever seen Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker on The Muppet Show?
I have not.
He wears this costume. You know, while Mark Hamill was busy going on The Muppet Show, Harrison Ford was busy making Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he got the better end of that deal.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is as good as Han. I think Indiana Jones would beat Han Solo in a fight, though. Hands down.
Yeah.
Because Han Solo does kind of cry a lot. Not cry, but he's like, ha, ha! Indiana Jones just takes that shit. And then he gets burnt. He goes through some more stuff. Han Solo, yeah, he gets frozen in carbonite, but he doesn't, get burnt or sacrificed by a black cult.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't, run into Nazis everywhere. I mean, God, most of those Nazis hate these guys.
I love that line so much.
I know. I know Raiders is probably the best. Temple of Doom. When I was a kid, it kind of scared me a little bit when I was like 6 and 7 watching it. But it's very. I think like Michael put for the retro blasting collaboration, they knew they couldn't replicate it, so they went completely off the other way and made it great itself. I've learned to like it a lot in the years since I've seen it. But Last Crusade, I don't know why, I just love that movie. It's so quotable.
That's true. Marcus, he got lost in his own museum once.
I mean, when he grabs the machine gun, it's like, I told you. Don't call me Junior. That's awesome.
I like when his dad's like, what about the boat? We're not going on the boat? Come on, Dad. See, when acting...
Maybe it's because I've gotten older, and I kind of see a little bit of that in my own father-son relationship. Maybe that's why I like it more. I don't know. Or you like an uncle or a grandfather, it's just some older person that bullshit with.
Yeah. The TIE bombers.
An Obi-Wan.
Those are cool ships.
I've never had one.
I haven't had little, I almost said Hot Toys ones. No, Micro Machines ones.
But they're only in this movie. I mean, technically they're probably in the next one, but I don't think you actually see them in that movie.
I mean, yeah, probably like how the ATST's in this movie for just a moment, but enough to sell the toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim, I've read that comic book before where Indiana Jones finds Han Solo and his corpse, and then Chewbacca's still alive waiting on him.
Jeff, I'm going to send you a link. It's of something that was a Comic-Con exclusive in 2008, and it is essentially the scene where Vader was talking with Palpatine.
Tweezel, thank you very much for your super chat. Kali Muff Shakti Day.
That will be the next trilogy this channel needs to stream. I mean, those movies, you got to do it.
I guess we got to have you involved, man, since Dion's busy. Doing nothing. He's at home washing his tights. We just lost the only guy who understood the true essence of Star Wars and who could have resurrected Star Wars from the ashes of Ruin Johnson. Rest in peace, Gary. Nicely put, Blaze Power.
Very true.
Nicely put.
Yeah, I was under the impression he was actually part of the new Disney Star Wars stuff, but I mistook him for Kazdan. So,
well, yeah, he could be further from right. Lawrence Kasdan, Gary Kurtz, John Kasdan, Boff,
Pando Kasdan,
whatever. I love this music so much. This is one of my favorite lines of this entire film, though. I don't have time to discuss this with committee. I am not a committee. See, there's moments of humor in this the most serious Star Wars film. They don't have to go, hello,
your mom is calling.
Yeah, all this stupid shit. I just can't stand modern humor, like modern Star Wars humor. It's not fucking
That's
funny.
Because it's not a cave. And it's also not funny. I have a feeling that Cubby Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are watching this thinking, you know what? In 3 years, we're going to have James Bond do this and swing across yelling like Tarzan.
If I ever found one piece of evidence to support the fact that Octopussy was inspired by The Empire Strikes Back, I will buy a hat and I will eat it on camera. Damn it, Trent.
Let's be honest, though. Okay, the thing about it. In 1983, okay, in the original cut of Jedi, does Chewie do that Tarzan yell on Endor?
Yeah.
Which one came out? Now, did they come out close to each other in 83? Octopussy and Jedi?
This came out, or Star Wars movies came out in May. So I think it was May 25th, 83 was Return of the Jedi, and Octopussy was like August or July.
Oh, so they probably ripped it from that. Or maybe they're just stupid on their own. Who knows?
People are saying soy humor. I don't really think Lawrence Kasdan did that much with The Force Awakens. Yeah, he did. He wrote some of the old Star Wars movies. They just recopied it. So now I don't really have a lot of anger towards Lawrence Kasdan because I mean he's responsible for Raiders of the Lost Ark and a lot of great moments in these films. I can't get over the fact that his stupid son worked on Solo.
I mean, I'm sure he's not proud of him. I mean, he's just there.
I never loved your mother, John. That's why we didn't put an H in your name.
Oh, he's one of those Johns?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Gary Kurtz. A lot of people are saying how they just found out about him. It's sad. It's always sad when somebody involved with Star Wars goes away. Had this channel had a bigger following back in 2016, we would have done a Princess Leia / Carrie Fisher memorial live stream of the original trilogy, probably in one sitting. Because I hate to say it, when Mark Hamill goes, when Harrison Ford goes, there will be stuff watched in their memory, and we'll talk about our favorite moments. So this one's for Gary Kurtz, and it really stemmed from the fact that we did Star Wars last night, and it just kind of felt like a natural progression.
Yeah, it does.
Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat. I see a South Park Coon and Friends movie over a Justice League movie at this point. I don't have any faith in DCEU. Excuse me. I'd rather see it, or I'd see a South Park Coon and Friends movie. So would I, because it'd be fun. DC could be dead. Marvel could be dead. We know what's going on with Captain Marvel now, and it ain't even the movie, folks. It is the crazy media out there that wants to portray it and make it about sexism and this and that. It's not about what's a good film anymore.
Yeah, I know we kind of got just on a tangent there with a bunch of good stuff, but this is what I'm talking about with this movie, though. There's a middle portion which isn't boring, but it's not as engaging or patient. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's slower, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
Right. Like this is interesting, but it's slow. And I'm not saying it's bad. Don't kill me, but it does. It's there's not a moment like this in the first one.
No, the first one's an upward trajectory, and that's why I enjoy it so much. God,
I do love
this
scene though. Yeah.
This is so much more impactful than Rey doing that little stupid click, 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 click thing. And how can people say that The Last Jedi did not rip off The Empire Strikes Back? I mean, seriously. Even down to the fucking
because it did not, Jeff. It ripped off The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Disney Star Wars original, they are not. I thought at one point in time I had a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader that came with a head that had Luke's face in the helmet.
You probably did. It was 98 Power of the Force, I think, or 97. And they also
Yoda,
made
a disappointment.
And they also made one in I think 2013 or 14, 3.75. Do you remember the I'll shut up for this scene?
Bounty hunters, we don't need their scum.
I am excited for Dengar and Zuckuss Black Series.
Isn't Boss getting re-released?
Along with Boba and IG-88.
Should I pick them up?
Do it.
Do it. No disintegrations. I mean, I have Boba Fett. I'm looking right at him in my office. He's in front of a giant hollow out Luke Skywalker and a way bigger version of The Rock.
I think I'm not sure they're actually going to repaint that Boba Fett or the Boss because they're not going to retool them, obviously, and they can't do face print tech. So it might just be a repack.
Yeah, I hope it is just a repack, because what could you do? Bosk has one appearance, right? He's not in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Watch what? Or whatever it says.
It's not my fault.
It's like there's real acting in this fucking movie.
I will say if I'm like setting up some kind of like technology thing or like that projector I had to set up on Saturday night, when it doesn't work, I just say, hey, it's not my fault. I will say now some people get it and they're a special kind of cool people, but some people don't. But I will say that more often than not. It's not even intentional anymore. It just comes out.
I kind of feel bad for Captain Nita.
Yeah, I mean, because he takes personal responsibility. He's like, okay, hey guys, hey, I'll tell him we screwed up. He even goes there in person. Like he could have said, yeah, just tell him we fucked up. Nope. I'm going to go in person. I'm going to send my goodwill. My men were doubling our efforts. Please don't take it out on them. We lost them, but we know where they were. He's doing that same thing, and okay, he's going to kill me. Maybe if I kiss his ass, he won't.
Yeah, but didn't work. He accepted your apology, but you're dead.
I was gonna say that, hey, in retrospect, his apology was accepted.
Good guy, Darth.
And this leads to another thing in the Force, Last Jedi that pissed me off. We see the X-Wing half submerged in the water, or fully submerged in the water off the cliff in Octu. You're telling me his ass couldn't lift that thing up and fly somewhere?
No, he just didn't want to, man. They fundamentally ruined Luke Skywalker.
And don't say, oh, the electrical circuits have been fried. The whole point of this movie was space gas.
Yeah.
They didn't give a shit about they had bombers dropping bombs in space. So they could have at least sold that shit, and they didn't.
Only different in your mind. I say do or do not. There is no try all the time.
I think I said it Friday.
Or do not. There is no try. There are a lot of good life lessons out of Star Wars. I'm not saying the movie was written with that in mind, but there are a lot of the elements from the original.
Well, actually, in Empire of Dreams, when talking about the first creation of it, Lucas does say that the reason, because he had done something, it was like TX-21 or something like that, some kind of like suspense
THX
movie.
1138.
Yeah, he did with through a company that Francis Ford Coppola started.
American Zoetrope Pictures.
Yep, he was really suspenseful. All of a sudden, it's like, why are you doing the Star Wars thing? Well, he wanted to make a movie that was not just it was made for everybody, but was really important and impactful to young people at a young age, to where it could leave a mark on them. His words, and that's what it does. As you saw it at what, like age 8, 9?
96. Yeah, I would have just turned 8.
And I had just turned 7. So we both saw it at that sweet spot age where it did leave a mark.
Definitely did. I mean, we're still talking about, I'll be 30 this year, and I still care about the old stuff.
And Frank Oz, his work with Yoda it made the character.
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks cool, but you had to have the personality and the sound there to complete it.
Let's not forget Stuart Freeborn, the man that actually sculpted Yoda. He looked at pictures of Albert Einstein and himself, and Yoda's based off his own design himself.
I can see the Einsteins. I'm assuming this guy had really bad ears.
Mm-hmm. The real Callum Anderson says, Gary Kurtz did just as much for Star Wars as George Lucas did. Without the both of them, the saga would not be the same. Glad to see you guys paying him the respect he deserves. Godspeed, Mr. Kurtz. Yep, I always give Gary Kurtz, at least personally, I think Gary Kurtz, you needed that. He hasn't been involved with Star Wars since 1981, but still, his impact is still being felt.
I mean, it's not exactly this way, but it's almost like a Wozniak and Jobs kind of thing. You think about Apple.
Yeah. I can see how you're saying that. Now, this is awesome right here. I don't believe it. That is why you fail. Told you, man, we're going to go on a spoken word tour of Empire Strikes Back. We'll just go reenact it for college.
That's after the American Psycho one, right?
Yeah, but before Back to the Future.
Then we'll do Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and I'll do a solo Beverly Hills Cop, a one-man show.
And I might go on my James Bond one. I'll just do an entire show for Kendo just to piss him off.
Kendo might kill you in your sleep.
I don't think I actually mouth off James Bond lines in my sleep, though. But I might. Who knows?
Well, you aim to please.
One rises to meet a challenge. I cannot wait for your GoldenEye commentary. I will say that.
Oh my God, I got through Moonraker. That's all I can say. It's over. It's over. Oh man,
that's why you fail.
This looks better than CGI Yoda.
It does.
I wonder what they do with all the bodies that Vader killed. Do they just toss them into the trash?
I bet he'll get his Black Series figure soon enough.
Who? Captain Nita?
Yeah.
They'll probably do it because Admiral Piet and Admiral or General Veers have the same body, so they'll just pump out new heads. Why not do that? Because
Pump out new
collectors won't go
heads.
nuts for that. I'd get Admiral Oswald. I'd get all the Imperial officers.
That's one thing I think could be cool. It was like a HasLab thing, but that was a 6-inch scale Death Star briefing box set.
That'd
They
be
did a
neat.
3 3/4 one. I got that one.
I've seen that. I wish they would do a retooling of the Empire Strikes Back Luke, and just do all the Lukes again because they all suck. Bespin, Return of the Jedi, Hoth, Farm Boy, they all are shitty toys.
Well, I was gonna say we do have the 40th anniversary of Empire coming next year, so they'll probably do that line again.
2 years.
Oh yeah, 2 years. Yep, correct.
I remember getting excited for when the movie turned 30 because I had just come home from college from Michigan State. I was like, Mom, I got to watch Empire Strikes Back. It turns 30 today. And she goes, okay, well, I thought we were going to go out to eat. I'm like, we'll go out, but I have to be back by whatever to watch Empire Strikes Back before midnight. And I did. It was also the first day I ever got Netflix, which was an odd way to remember Empire Strikes Back. It's sad to think that Gary Kurtz died seeing Star Wars get burned to the ground. It seems horrible. I think Gary Kurtz saw Star Wars or felt differently way back in the day, and he came to accept it. He may have not even seen the Disney Star Wars flicks, did he? I'm trying to find more stuff about him, but I don't.
I wonder if his opinion is publicly known about the newer movies.
Probably doesn't like him. He probably had the strongest stance on him. That's a guy I would have loved to have interviewed for the channel, just to ask him that question. What do you think of Disney Star Wars? Do you think they're lazy cash grabs, or do you think they recapture the spirit of what you and George worked on? I'll never know, but
oh yeah, Leia, stand by your man. I do.
This is a special edition change coming up that I love. I'll tell you when the exact shot is. It's after the interior of Boba Fett. Or no, it is right here. I just love this shot right here. It looks way cooler than what's in the movie. There's Boba. Bob A. Fett. Darth Durkle the Wise Ass. You haven't seen Empire in a month? I haven't watched Empire since we did it for the channel many moons ago.
I think the last time I saw it was bits and pieces on like a TNT stream they were doing. Or marathon.
Yeah, because they sold off the rights. Stupid Disney.
Stupid Disney. Star Wars is for actual fans.
Yeah. You can't infect it. God, look at a minute ago, I felt like we were at the 40-minute mark. Now we're at the hour and 20-minute mark. Hour 17:20 mark. God. You know, there's an online movement of people that complain that the Blu-ray cut of this has too much of a blue hue over the film. And they've gone back to try to recolor correct just that. I don't care. It looks good. The Blu-ray cut looks fine. Unless we're going to get a 4K remaster where they redo all the CGI too. I'm okay with what
I've stayed away from 4K because, I mean, now 4K, do you need a 4K Blu-ray player to play 4K?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Now, do you need a 4K TV to get the full experience, or will it still look better if you have a regular flat
I'm
screen?
sure it'll look better, but... Because I remember watching a Blu-ray on a PlayStation 3 that was hooked up to an old tube TV. It looked slightly better. I mean, not much. Slightly. It was still over composite as well. A long time ago.
It was a long time ago. He banged droids.
Yeah, Han caught him lubing up. L337. Now, how long were they in space running from the Empire?
That is one of the things that I was wondering about this movie is how because that directly affects how long Luke would actually be training for.
Yeah, because it seems like, honestly, it seems like a couple days.
Yeah, because the first movie is, you know, what, like 3 days?
Well, we can figure that out. C3PO and R2D2 land in the daytime of day one. Then day two happens when they they get picked up by the Jawas at day one. Then day two, they're sold to Luke. Day three is when R2D2 runs off and they meet
Disappears.
Obi-Wan and all that shit, and everybody dies. So there's 3 days on Tatooine at least, and then I don't know, at least another day. They're on the Death Star for a couple hours. Let's say it takes place over 4 days. Just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. That seems like the best guess. This one takes. People say this takes place over weeks, but they like don't change their clothes. They look the same. It looks like
I
they're
never
on the
thought
run
they
for an
did.
afternoon.
I think essentially it was about 4 days. Because you think about it, okay, Luke and Han are out on patrol, middle of the day. They have to close the doors, so that's night. He's in the cave for a day. Battle of Hoth happens. In that same day, I believe you'd have Han and them out running the Empire and Luke landing on Dagobah. So that's end of day 2.
It sounds about
The whole
right.
the whole space worm thing is about that's maybe day 3 or 4. And then you got the Bespin stuff. I'm following the Han because Dagobah can get confusing because it's just always the same. There's no night, really, I don't think. So it's like 5, maybe 6 days. It's like a week. I think it's like a week.
That's my guess too. When people say, "Oh, they're on the run for weeks on end," no, it doesn't make sense that they'd be on the run for weeks on end. And then Return of the Jedi takes place over the same amount of time as well.
Yeah, so in reality, Luke only trained for a week.
Yeah, still more than Rey.
Yeah. And I think it's insinuated, even like Shadows of the Empire and stuff like that, that in the time between Han's freezing and his rescue, he's always he's reading texts and he's training and all that shit. He's not sitting on his ass.
Well, a big difference. Just a second. A big difference too is that there's a 3-year gap between the first Star Wars movie and Empire, where Luke trains, at least somewhat. And then there's a year between this and Return of the Jedi. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are separated by what? An afternoon?
Yeah.
So Rey has no training except until she gets to Luke, and then they do very minimal there.
Oh, he's in the wrong neighborhood.
Ooh, he gone. He gone.
I didn't know Bespin was Chicago. But how long is Hot and Carbonite? Because I did read Shadows of the Empire. Isn't that like that's almost a year, right? 9 months.
Yeah, there's like exact days, but I don't know. I usually say a year, so I have to check that out.
That is a weird thing for him to say, though. If it's been a short period of time, is I've learned so much since the cave. That's like a day ago, dude. By like structure of the scenes.
See, stuff like this and the questions that are raised from this movie alone are why I always consider the first Star Wars better.
Because there is no questions. It's a building crescendo. Complete story.
Well, because then you can start to pick apart. Well, how long is this? And is he really trained, or what's going on? This, that, and the other.
The great thing about it is it's such a great movie that it really doesn't matter. But if you're a really big fan and you look at, you can. It's not so bad you have to call it out and look at it, but you can because it's there and it doesn't need to be. And in the first one, it isn't. But you can avoid looking at that kind of stuff and still love this movie. You can look at it and still love this movie. We called it out and it's still 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah. I'm not trying to pick it apart to be funny. I'm just saying I've had these criticisms in my own personal life. After a certain point, it's like when you watch the same movie like 100 times, you wonder these things. Thanks to home video, you have the ability to watch these movies countless times. Now, we have a super chat from our friend All Out of Bubblegum. First off, All Out of Bubblegum, thank you very much. Favorite line from Empire? Well, what have we here? Godspeed, Mr. Kurtz. Yeah, definitely. Godspeed, Gary Kurtz. One of the most important people involved with Star Wars.
True visionary. I think the reason that this whole franchise is turned around with Luke and Leia being brother and sisters because of that line that Yoda just says.
But that's not even the case. There's interviews of George Lucas. Sorry. There's an interview of George Lucas saying, I have that line in there just so people could wonder who it is. So, and that is either on the Blu-ray or there's interview footage of him saying that, talking about that. I think it's on the Blu-ray release.
I think he wants to set up suspense that Luke might die at the hands of Vader.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing about Leia, per se.
I think in retrospect, you leave that line out.
You think they should?
I don't hate them being brother and sister because in the prequels, I mean, it does set up. They explain it in the prequels, but
I hate it. It makes no fucking sense. It takes away the drama and the romance and all the stuff. If you go back and watch a lot of the interview stuff between Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford and stuff, there are lines of dialogue or there are interview questions where people are like, is she going to end up with Luke or Han? And Carrie Fisher's like, well, she's a schmuck if she ends up with Han Solo type of thing. So,
well, Carrie, I mean, you did have sex with Harrison Ford, so
multiple times, but I should read that book, Princess Diaries or whatever she calls it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, don't watch the movie Princess Diaries. I mean, God,
is that Anne Hathaway?
I think so. But no, yeah, if they don't, because I think it most affects the first movie, them being brother and sister. I know they kiss in this one, but still, it kind of constricts the galaxy. And it's like, why did the chances of them running into each other? And I don't know. It just didn't need to happen. Lando, you're pushing it. You're really pushing it.
Bobino says at this point is where the audience knew there would be a part 3. It's weird to think that people once referred to this movie as Star Wars 2 and Star Wars 3 for Return of the Jedi. I've always known them as, episode whatever.
I'm just waiting for the appearance of Ice Cream Maker guy.
Oh, Wilbur Hood? That's his name.
Yeah. I'm not dropping $75 on his action figure, though. I'm sorry.
Don't, because that was a figure that was available. Oh, here we go. This is the most badass scene right here. Boom, boom, boom. Vader takes no shit from anybody in this movie.
Yeah, he is still butthurt over the Death Star. Which is why he didn't have it blown up. Chuck Wendig, you dumb bastard.
Well, and that's another problem with Return of the Jedi. I mean, we don't have time tonight, obviously, but when we do talk about Return of the Jedi, you guys will hear me say this. Return of the Jedi Darth Vader definitely feels like a much weaker version than he is here. Like something heavy. Is he that distraught emotionally over revealing to Luke his lineage? Because he just feels, oh, you know, the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am and all this shit. He just seems like a much different character.
He seems kind of cucked.
Yeah.
More cucked than confused, but still, I mean, still good. But yeah, it's like he builds up an intimidation until Return of the Jedi. Like he's more intimidating in Rogue One.
Yeah. I used to love when Luke beat Vader in Return of the Jedi, but now I watch and I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's like he's the old man. It's like seeing like his son kick his ass. It's like, am I all out of juice? Am I done?
Because he gives it that scream, oh! It's like, oh, Vader's
It's like,
done.
God, someone needs to get this guy some eugenics.
I have a C-3PO that comes with a Chewbacca figure from 2002, and you plug his head into the body and his eyeballs light up.
Yep, they released it in 06, and I got the same one. I can't get the damn thing to stay in the back, but it's still cool.
Stormtroopers here. Have been shot. I have this Han Solo figure, the one that comes in the chair.
Yeah, I never opened mine.
It's so dumb. This is why I feel like Indiana Jones is tougher. You think Lando's got a boner for Lobot right now?
Well, I think that he wants to see what that CPU can handle.
This Boba Fett looks way better than the Boba Fett armor from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Less colorful. I like the pouches over the belt.
He is scary as shit when he says that line.
I'm
Vader.
altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Just the way he like, glares at him, like, are you feeling? Are you not happy with what we've done here? Do I need to kill you? Good. Then shut the fuck up.
Look up concept art for Had Abaddon to see what the ending of Return of the Jedi was supposed to be like. All right, I'll Google that right now.
Same. Had Abaddon.
Crap, not Had a Bad Day.
You turn it around?
I feel awful, or I feel terrible. It looks pretty cool. Oh, let's see. It was actually a proposed name for the Imperial capital, later identified as Coruscant, which appear in early drafts for Return of the Jedi. It was meant to be a city planet orbited by 2 Death Stars under construction, and the Green Moon, later renamed Juice Endor, which would later just become Endor. Its lowest levels were meant to be home to the Emperor's Palpatine's throne room, surrounded by a lake of lava, around which Luke Skywalker would duel Darth Vader. These concepts were ultimately separated into the Emperor's throne room aboard the Death Star 2 and Mustafar. Abaddon is similar to the Hebrew word Abaddon, which means destruction.
Son of a bitch.
That is really fucking cool. I hate reading about what could have been with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, just think I'm not really on board with the Emperor hanging out in a cave. That's not his MO. But like maybe Vader, like it's Vader's place, and the Emperor still got his throne room in the old Jedi temple. That would have been. Goddamn, why'd that not happen?
You know what this looks like to me? Now, I'm not talking about the art, but Return of the Jedi now. It looks like Lucas was just in a mad rush to finish these movies. So we got same old shit with Return of the Jedi.
I think even says Empire of Dreams was like, well, do I make a third? Do I want to? I can't leave it hanging. Okay, let's do this. I think the one thing they were set on going into it was the resolution with Jabba and the Han Solo situation, and that's why those first 40 minutes are probably the most well constructed parts of the movie. Is the beginning. Wouldn't you
Oh
agree?
yeah, the first 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love the duel over the Sarlacc pit as well.
I will say he's not in Hoth anymore. That's got to be pretty warm. I mean, that you got to at least unbutton a few buttons there, Luke. I mean, damn.
The cold vacuum of space, my friend.
What the hell does Schwarzenegger say in Batman Robin? The icy cold of space.
Cool party. Oh man, this shot right here is badass. Vader walking into frame.
Yeah.
Why can't Disney replicate the best parts of Star Wars? Screen presence, memorable designs, memorable characters. Captain Phasma is just a derivative shiny stormtrooper. And I love how nonchalant he's like, put him in. He doesn't even care. There's no build-up. I wonder how much unreleased Star Wars production art there is out there.
I think they got books of this stuff. Because one thing I've been realizing is a lot cheaper and almost as equally cool is some of the book material for Star Wars stuff. Like today, I picked up a Celebration 5 trading card of Gary Kurtz, which I showed you the picture of. And then I got two, one's an Entertainment Weekly and one's an Insider Magazine. And one is about it came out, it was on stand September 24th, 2004. And the one was talking about the DVD release. And the other one about Star Wars Battlefront and the DVD release.
This is the best shot of Darth Vader in any Star Wars flick coming up, where he comes through the smoke and the music and everything. Holy shit.
Perfect. And they do have, I think, a tabletop art book. Some of the concept art that you're talking about.
I have the original Ralph McQuarrie portfolio for the Empire Strikes, or for just Star Wars itself. So there's Han and Carbonite. That was my first Han Solo figure. My mom's like, why don't you get that one? You get 2 figures for the price of 1. Fucking hated that
toy. Figure, Mom. It's a block.
Didn't even have a holster or his gun. So my first Han Solo didn't have his blaster.
Fun, interesting fact about that figure. Actually, it was recalled at first to the factory because there was an error on the card. It first said Han Solo with carbonite freezing chamber, and it was a risk of being a false advertisement because it was just the blocks. They had to bring it back and recard it as with carbon block.
Huh, I was not aware of that variant. I don't remember which one I had because I bought that shit, God, 21 years ago.
Here's the thing, though. Those variants and stuff in the 90s, other than 1 or 2, it ain't worth $1 more.
Oh, hell no.
And I don't get why not. I think they're pretty decent figures. I think the card back it's from an important time when Star Wars was brought back to life in a good way, unlike it was recently. I don't know why they're so dirt cheap.
Well, because you got the old guy collectors are kind of the most crotchety group. They'll praise this new Disney shit because it reminds them of the stuff when they were a kid, but that's really the only reason they're praising it. They're not good toys. And then they look at the old stuff from the 90s and go, well, that's just buff pieces of crap. Look, I get it. The figures aren't that great in terms of sculpting, but at least they
were only buff for 2 years.
Yeah.
97 through 99, they were great. It looked pretty damn good.
I'll
They
say
weren't
this: the face sculpts
articulated,
look
but
better than the original vintage ones. They actually look more like the actors. I'm not saying they're
no,
perfect, but
no, the vintage ones are only cool for the fact that you either had them as a child or that they're the fact they came out during the actual movie releases. That's why I think they're cool to me. They came out, they were the first ones. That's why they're cool. Quality wise, look like horse shit. But you look at it, the stuff in the 90s was like in that weird in between where the articulation's crap, but they look more like them.
yeah, I like
I
my
think there's two camps. There's like there's the Kenner lovers, and there's the guys that want the super articulated GI Joe style 3.75 or 6-inch.
Yeah, that's me. I just want the most realistic representation.
Yeah, the 95 stuff was in that middle ground that didn't really appeal to both camps enough.
There's Boba Fett out of the armor right there, holding Leia.
That's him?
Yeah, that's Jeremy Bulloch. That's the guy that plays Boba Fett.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard his audio of him in the armor.
Oh,
I've only
because you
ever
won't.
heard.
That's not him. It's a guy named Jason Wingreen.
Oh,
And it's a much better voice than Tamara Morrison's.
I've never heard it. I've only heard Morrison's.
He's no good to me, Dad. He sounds like that. It's real gravelly. We had the Star Wars and the Power of Costume exhibit come to town, and I went and checked it out. I actually filmed a video for it here on the channel, and they had a lot of Ralph McQuarrie stuff. I mean, obviously some of it was not original, but still it was neat to see it in person.
This is where this movie really does take off, at least to me.
Oh, yeah. It's so much more atmospheric than the first flick. The first flick is your basic, not basic, but it's your more traditional action movie. And this kind of elevates it to a more, to bring more emotional depth.
Yep. That's my favorite shot of Vader ever.
Oh, that one on the top of the stairs.
Yeah. Just reminds me of that bank.
I remember that.
You know, Lego just released a Lego Cloud City.
How is it?
I don't know. I'm not going to drop 350 on it.
Nor am I. I'm not going to.
It's cool. It's better than the one that came out like in 2003, but it's cool. But it's not like, I guess some were complaining they want an actual representation of the outside look and not the interior. But it's if it's a kid that has it, it's probably something fun to play with. But 350, no way.
I wish Hasbro would do cardboard play sets for collectors, kind of like how they have those city streets and all that stuff that you can get for the Marvel Legends figures from third parties. Just do, high-end stuff like they used to do. Make it real cheap, charge a premium. People will pay for display pieces.
Well, they actually are doing cardboard play sets now. They did 2 for Solo.
Oh, they did? I didn't, dude. I saw the initial wave and wasn't impressed.
Oh, I'm not going to pick up anything from Solo, so. I did, however, see. Have you seen the new 3.75-inch 5 POA Darth Vader that has been hitting recently?
Uh-uh.
The New Hope version. It looks like the best 3.75 Darth Vader. Of course, it's not as articulated, but it looks really good.
Send me a picture of it when you find one, because I want to check it out.
It's Han, damn it! I always hated that. Why in the hell? You guys said it right in the first movie. Why did it ever go from Han and Leia to Han and Leia? What the hell? Was it Irvin Kushner? What happened?
My best guess, and it's never been confirmed, is probably people on the set started saying Han, and they just heard it, and nobody really picked up on it.
But how do you? That's important.
I'll be honest, dude, when you film stuff or you work on stuff, like even me when I make certain videos, you just work on stuff and you're like just trying to get through it. And then sometimes you realize you made a little gaffe or something and you can't fix it. It's too late. Nope. You know what?
So.
No, I guess, you know what? My theory just has a hole in it because they ADR'd C-3PO. So they said Han again. So never mind. It must have been a conscious choice.
Oh, I guess that Black Series Leia right there, that one's also starting to get out to Target stores.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it on a GameStop website. This is not the strongest gunfight in Star Wars. It's not bad, but it's not the strongest. Directed by Irvin Kershner. That's how you could splice the movie together.
This Duel is good though. It's very good. It's one. It's top 3.
So this is the first time we see the Force jump. All too easy. This movie wouldn't have the same weight as if Luke won.
Most impressive. I like how the bank was impressive, most impressive, but you're not a Jedi yet, and then cut into the Imperial March. The way they, I know it's not accurate to the movie, but the way they recut it is perfect.
Well, that's why I say that line the way I do, because my memory stems from the toy, not necessarily the movie.
All right, Jeff, I'm sending you a link for that Vader.
Ooh, I'm excited. Cadmium Red has that bank, or owned that bank. It's funny how there's so many Star Wars pieces of merchandise that we all owned, that we all have our own memories of.
Oh, I will never get. There's so, like, okay, I have some Hot Toys Star Wars figures. I got some I got Black Series. I got some expensive rare ones, some sealed stuff, Kenner, whatever. The only things I will never get rid of in any circumstance are that bank and the figures I got from 2004. That anything else is better and it's cool, but it's expendable. But those things I could just never get rid of.
That is a pretty nice Darth Vader. Oh, he's toying with him.
I mean, I never really thought, because obviously I'm seeing this. It wasn't really considering it, but the force powers in A New Hope were very limited. It was force choke, and that was about it.
Jedi mind trick.
We didn't see a guy just standing around using his damn mind to throw shit at people. We didn't see a guy lift the X-Wing out of the swamp. That kind of stuff I can see where that made such an impact on people. They'd make this their favorite just because that is so... I mean, it was nothing like that before.
Yeah, because the only other thing Obi-Wan did with the Force, besides become one with it, was, remember, he used the Force to make that sound to get the stormtroopers to look away?
Yeah.
That's about it. Everything else was more... Now, see, right here, we talked yesterday about how A New Hope is just one end scene. This one cuts between, two different things. Not that it's bad, but I do like the more focused endings.
No, definitely. It does do better for the story.
Those are insert shots of new actors. See, now that's humor that doesn't derail the movie.
Exactly.
What makes me sad with Star Wars is that it is no longer the pioneer of making movies.
Ah, there's Will Hood.
There he goes, yeah. Spend $90 for his action figure.
No, thank you.
No little Star Wars figures worth that much money to me.
Never.
Wonderful. I love how R2-D2 does his little victory spin right here after he uses the smoke. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, where does he... Maybe he already passed that part where he does the little spin thing. Yeah, that was earlier. R2 saves everybody with a fire extinguisher, says Abomino. Layer cake, says Lando.
Lena Dunham.
Ugh. Boom, boom. I like how it takes off with the landing gear. That's
Got
awesome.
pull out, man. Hey, you can never have a weak pull out game.
It's true. I love the matte painting work. Again, so many different levels of artistry with these Star Wars movies. It's not just one, discipline you master. It's all these people coming together.
Now this was a jump scare when I was 7.
Dion loves to laugh at this part coming up here, where Vader goes ah, coming up right here.
Yeah.
This one right here.
I have the.
Ah!
I do have the Hot Toys Vader from this movie coming. When it comes to that in platform and all that. They made 4 years ago the Hot Toys version of Luke. Came with the weather vane, a normal version, and the fucked up version.
Mm-hmm.
You need both house to complete the scene. That one is $900 now.
I say that all the time. When I play a video game, you are beaten. It is useless to resist. People do not like when I say that to them because it's usually when it's like a wrestling game or something.
Pissed off, Dad.
And there goes his hand.
Try jerking it now, dickhead.
Now I believe in the original theatrical cut as well as the specialized edition, there's a weird echo that they add to Vader and Luke's voice to show that they're outdoors, and then they cut it off for many of the home video releases. The power of the dark side. All right, there we go. We were silent for the "I am your father" scene.
Now, I don't mind that at all. I love that.
What, the
because
twist?
It connects to the first one. It's completely different than the Luke and Leia thing. Completely different.
Oh, yeah.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Answer, not as much as Mark Hamill in that scene.
God damn, that was a burn. As father and son. I like how Luke would rather just jump off to his death than join Darth Vader.
No, he totally knows that there's a downward suction that leads to these ventilation shafts. And wasn't there some version of this movie where he has a scream that was put in there?
It's the Emperor's scream. That,
What version is that? I never want to see that.
The 97 cut.
So they took it out for this. Okay, good.
Yeah. It wasn't in the original, and then they put it in the 97 cut, and then they took it out for the DVD and Blu-ray. That was one of the dumber audio changes for Star Wars.
Now, what the hell was that was shown falling?
I always assumed that was his hand, his lightsaber.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, maybe the dumbest thing in Force Awakens is the fact that his lightsaber was ever found. I know Kendall gets pissed about that. That is fucking stupid. It's gone.
I don't like it either.
Unless Maz Anus Eyes was working as a janitor, clean out the ventilation tubes. I don't believe any of that shit.
But Trent, it's a story for another time, man.
It's a story for you to go fuck off. I can't. Disney Star Wars. Here's the thing, I say I like Rogue One, but if getting rid of all the other shit means never having Rogue One, I'm fine with it. Like I said, I've been fine with just these 6 movies. If you want, maybe do some animated TV shows or strictly spin-offs. Or just give it to Lucas and a guy like Gary Kurtz at the time and don't fuck up.
See, I'm glad Star Wars is so shitty the way it is. So we've built this channel, but as a fan, I do wish, I would forego the same thing as you have.
That's an unnecessary add-on.
Yeah, in the original line, it was "Bring me my shuttle." There's more special edition changes because the shuttle didn't exist back then.
Now, are you aware of those Action Fleet? I think they were called electronic ships.
There were electronic and non-electronic Action Fleet. I have the Millennium Falcon in my office.
They had, I think it was the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Executor, and the Tantive 4. They were pretty decent.
The giant ones. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those are pretty damn cool looking. I'll be honest. They're not that expensive.
Loudy has that.
They look like they're pretty good size from the pictures I saw.
But they have no weathering detail, so it's just like solid gray plastic with blue painted energy for the engine. So it doesn't look that good, but it's not terrible either.
Another special edition.
Oh yeah, that shuttle's like a shuttle Tiberium, like a Lambda class shuttle. So those weren't introduced till Return of the Jedi. There's a mouse droid.
Well, I'm assuming this scene right here is this in the original?
No, not at all. That ship didn't exist when Empire Strikes Back came out. That was the point I'm trying to make to you. Like it was at first.
I think I just noticed something. I think was it. Okay, nice. No, he's all fucked up. You're gonna kiss him, Stahan. All right. I guess if you get frozen, you become unavailable.
Yeah.
For that scene with Vader, though, I think it was just an alternate angle to the scene from Return of the Jedi. Cause I'm pretty sure that Moff Jerjerrod was in that shot. I never noticed that before. I think that's what it is, because that was Moff Jerjerrod.
There gets a second appearance.
He had a toy.
Who didn't have a toy in Star Wars besides the Tonica twins? Tonica sisters, Tonica twins. The girls from the cantina.
I don't know, the guy that what the hell's the guy's name? The guy Elor's Matic is talking to.
Who?
The Duros, the green guy.
Oh.
There's two of them.
Maybe they made them. They had a weird C-3PO figure / doll. It came on a platform, and you could like spin this wheel, and it would spin around, but it was him without his other leg. It was like the dumbest toy ever made.
I bet that didn't sell well.
No, I used to see it at Toys R Us, and I was just like, what is this for?
And there's that medical bay we were talking about last night.
Yeah. I like how they have a aluminum foil pillow.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I slept on a floor Saturday night.
Well, you were drinking.
Among other things, but yeah, you're right.
You didn't just fight your father in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that would have been a worse night, trust me. I much prefer my I prefer my Saturday night to Luke's Saturday night.
Yeah, I prefer your Saturday night to mine too. I fell asleep at 9 o'clock at night and woke up at 5 in the morning. And have a Saturday night.
That's kind of crazy. We did wake up at the same times though.
Yeah, well, I got up and got to work.
Technically, yeah, okay. I'll leave it at that.
This is the fastest 2 hours of my life.
That's how long we're in this movie. It's only 2 hours. Wow. There is that dull part, not dull part, a slower point in the movie, but in reality, it's not as slow as I thought.
That's the good light speed, not that Disney
Oh
shit.
God, I'm so choked. That's the I'm choked look.
And that's the last we see of Vader. Guy's working on his iPad. I avoided dying. You think anybody ever bumped into Vader as he's walking and he just offed him then?
I like to think so.
Kids were probably so excited to see X-Wings again because they knew all this shit was over. Yeah, and these effects are great. The model work is spectacular.
And then you got Lando and Han's clothes, even though the shirt is like a different color.
Leia back in her A New Hope dress, I believe.
It's close enough.
I love how they're able to give him a sci-fi hand without actually having him have a sci-fi hand.
Yeah. I do like that in the prequels when Anakin loses his is strictly robotic. So they sure there was a jump in technology.
Yeah, Lucas was good about all of that stuff, for sure.
Oh yeah, that is Leia's A New Hope outfit.
It will take them a year to find Han Solo. Well, they know where he is, but how did you feel the first time you saw this movie? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember the beginning, scare shit as a Wampa, but really loving the Battle of Hoth, bored in the middle, loving the ending, and God rest Gary Kurtz right there produced.
Yeah.
And
Don't
then
forget Lee
being
Brackett too. She passed away
yep.
a long time ago.
And then just as soon as the credits went to I put in Return of the Jedi because I had to see how it ended.
I had to wait a whole week. It was like, dude, it was the hardest week of my life. The weirdest thing about me in Star Wars was I had figures from other movies, and somehow I just missed out on like putting two and two together. Like I had a Bespin, or excuse me, I had an Endor Gear Han Solo. I didn't know what the hell Endor was.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, is it just something they came up with to sell more toys, or what is it?
When I first got my own copy of the trilogy, which would have been the special edition, I watched Empire quite a bit. I wasn't one of those kids that didn't watch Empire because I thought it was boring. I liked it. I watched it a lot, but for me, from a certain age, I really watched Return of the Jedi a lot, like a lot. I liked Luke Skywalker in black. I liked everything about Return of the Jedi as a kid. The older I got, the less I like it, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, they still give Clive Rebel his credit for being the original Emperor, which is cool. John Dix, Milton Johns.
John Dick, Milton Johns. Major Derlin, John Ratzenberger. Oh, well, shit. Hell, no. He has an action figure.
Yeah, he does.
I own it.
Here comes the Imperial March. Fantastic music.
That is great.
John Mallow, yeah, he did a lot of the costume design work for the original Star Wars as well.
Ben
Now,
Burt, sound design.
we talked last night how I always watch the credits for the original Star Wars. I don't usually watch the credits for The Empire Strikes Back. Not that I think they're inferior, I just don't. I think I like the music much more, the credits from A New Hope. So I always watch those. They called Lobot Lando's aide. Yeah, I think Kenner comes up with a lot of these names, or came up with a lot of the names. Thankfully, Walrus Man didn't stick very well.
Yeah. Well, you think about Lobot. I mean, they just took the L for Lando and took robot and just put Lobot.
Or it looks like he had a lobotomy, so he has that thing on his brain.
Oh, very nice.
They do something cool with the new Disney Star Wars flicks. They have these things called the decraniated, where they're like people with half heads and half robot things.
I'm gonna just type in the decraniated right now on Google and see what these things look like.
Yeah, they're fucking cool. Harrison Ellenshaw. I think he was like there was like somebody that was really young that did matte paintings that was like incredible. Maybe that was him. Maybe not.
Oh yeah, these guys were in they're on Jeddah.
Yeah, they're cool looking.
They got like a pair of like binoculars in the middle of their head, and then down it's normal.
I wouldn't mind some scary stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Vanderveer photo effects. Oh, there we go. Rick McCallum. Ugh. That's what Rick McCallum's okay in my book.
He ended up taking over he took over the Gary Kurtz role, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was basically George Lucas's yes man on the prequels. So, what is your favorite vintage Kenner figure, Trent?
That I have so far, or just in general?
In general, like what's one that you're dying to get?
I would like to get a just an original 77 Vader. I mean, they all look like crap according to me personally, but I think they're cool because they're the originals. That's about it. I mean, there's nothing really aesthetically pleasing about any of them.
Remember, it's the same Vader throughout the entire line, so
yeah. Oh, I do think Bosk looks spot on even back in the day.
Semper 2, it's so dense talking about Rick McCallum. Boom. Okay, the music is powerful in this shit too. God, I love Star Wars when it was good. 1-800-PHONE THX. Should I call that?
Yeah, do it.
I'll do it right now on air.
I mean, I think you guys did what, like live links. So might as well do this one.
1-800-PHONE THX. That's what phone THX, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. Are you or someone in your household 50 years or older? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Okay, well, that is not THX. Well, folks, we've come to the end of The Empire Strikes Back in memory of Gary Kurtz. So if you didn't hear, Gary Kurtz, one of the most important people to work on the original Star Wars films, has passed away. He was 78, right? Right, Trent?
Yeah, 78.
Passed away from cancer, which he discovered he had last year. And that it's sad. But Gary Kurtz, his contribution to the world of Star Wars, the world of entertainment, can't be looked down upon. He's the guy that brought a lot of credibility and believability to the Star Wars universe. So everybody likes to say George Lucas is a visionary, a revolutionary creator, but Gary Kurtz was right alongside him doing a lot of the business stuff, bringing a lot of the universal religion of the Force to the films. So Star Wars has two dads, and one of them died today.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, I think so too. Gary Kurtz, his contributions can't be overestimated, overstated. That's the right way to say it. So Do yourselves a favor, folks. Go back, Google Gary Kurtz, look at the contributions he made to Star Wars. And when you pay attention to that man, it's easy to see why Return of the Jedi is a weaker film compared to Empire and A New Hope. Gary Kurtz was not involved. And it goes to show you there's a reason why, Lucas made the prequels the way he did. That's just the kind of filmmaker he is. Everything's the visuals and this and that and the crappy slapstick humor. Bet you if Gary Kurtz would have been involved, Jabba's palace would have been a much grimier place.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have been no Ula, though.
Yeah, well, I do love green boobies. I'm like Captain Kirk. I don't like the milk. Just like the boobs.
Yeah, don't go that fringe yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say that. That's all I can say.
They have something called the Space Catalina wine mixer. The Spadalina wine mixer.
I want my nut. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
Space Derek, Sparrock.
Spoats and Spos.
Sparrock Spuff. That's my Star Wars name, Sparrock Spuff.
Sparrock Muff.
Grand Moff Sparrock. Sparrock's actually a pretty cool sounding name.
Oh, that'll be a kid's name. That'll be a popular kid's name. Yeah, just wait and see.
Believe me, there are dumber kids' names out there in the world. So,
yeah,
but that is a stream for another time. So, folks, thank you for joining us with this impromptu stream. It was a lot of fun. Love The Empire Strikes Back. Love hanging out with Trent. Love hanging out with all of you out there. So, make sure you guys, if you're late to the party, wait till the stream reloads. Watch it from the beginning. We talk about Gary Kurtz. We talk about this film. If there's anything you think we missed, let me know on Good Morning Pop Culture tomorrow, because we're going to be talking a little more about Gary Kurtz, Jake Lloyd, some stuff to celebrate some Star Wars, because as there's a new era coming from the Disney Star Wars, let's take a look back and celebrate those who've passed, those who've made contributions, and those who've suffered from Star Wars. 007 Cloud, thank you for Super Chat. The clown has no penis. What kind of dreams are you having?
That's such a good movie.
That would be a hard stream to do, because it would just be nonstop quotes.
Yeah. Even our tour across the country quoting that movie.
Oh my God. Dion used to hate Step Brothers. He won't tell you that, but he used to.
How?
He was in a different headspace back then, man. He wasn't as fun loving as he is now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, time is an important thing. Pete, thank you. May the Force be with you, and also with you, my friend. So, guys, I'll be back in just a few short hours with Good Morning Pop Culture. I'll be live, and we'll have a lot of fun. So, hold on. Evil Ash 3373, thank you very much for your super chat. Thanks for the stream. Evil Ash, thank you very much for joining us for tonight's stream, as well as all the other streams I see you, involved with world-class bullshitters. So, folks, take a moment to remember Gary Kurtz. Star Wars was more than just George Lucas. There's a lot of different people. So, again, thank you, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Bring your points, bring your questions, all kinds of stuff, because Good Morning Pop Culture is going to be a lot of fun. So, until next time, folks, may the Force be with you.